What's up, everybody? We're back. Episode 19 of the End of the Bench Show. Got Chris Burkowski here for his second go-around on the pod. We're gonna see a lot of him in the coming weeks because, Chris, we have a football series to get to. But
That is right.
today we wanted to talk about something a little closer to your heart in your hatred of Rob Manfred.
Yeah. I can swear, right? That's not a problem.
Yeah, dude, I curse at least 3 times an episode.
Okay,
My mom's
yeah,
not happy, but
fucking fed up with Rob Manfred. I'm at my wit's end. So I guess did I text you this morning, I guess?
Yeah, you texted
or last night?
You texted me this morning. You're like, I wanna come on the pod if you're interested because I want to shit on Rob Manfred. And I'm like, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So last night, I believe it was last night, Tony Clark came out with a statement. Well, after at like 5:30, Rob Manfred comes out and says, "Hey, I don't know if we're gonna have a baseball season." Now this comes 3 days after he said we are 100% going to have a baseball season.
Right. Yeah. I mean, did you watch did you watch the SportsCenter thing yesterday with like all the sport commissioners on there?
No, so I don't. I just moved with Maria and we don't have cable, so I didn't see it.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah, we're streaming everything. So I don't have I have the ESPN app on my TV, so I'm sure I can go and retroactively watch it, but I didn't see it live.
Yeah, it was cool though because that's where all the quotes were coming from, like from Manfred earlier in the day, because Mike Greenberg hosted it and he taped every interview, like it wasn't a live interview.
Okay.
So that's where all like the quotes were coming from, and then Greeny started with him. Like Manfred went first, and it was just downhill. Like Greenberg did a great job. Like the whole 2-hour special, if it's on like the ESPN app, I recommend you guys watch it. But yeah, Manfred is just a fucking joke. I mean, and honestly, I mean, it's the owners too. It's not just Manfred.
No, it's the owners. And there was a quote today from an agent who said that he knows there are at least 8 owners who don't want baseball to be played this year.
Yeah.
So and the issue is that for Manfred to have the league happen, he needs, I believe, 24 of the 30, or 23 of the 30 owners to agree. And so somebody, well, I know 8 that don't want to, so it's not going to happen. So,
but then I saw in like that same quote that like they don't want it to happen, but they still are hopeful that a season will happen. So it's like they can't make up their mind. I don't know who signs off on all these press releases or like conversations the owners and like Manfred has. Like, they just don't. I don't get it.
Manfred, I posted on the Charging Them Out Twitter account. I posted Instagram account rather. I posted the Tony Clark quote, and Tony Clark kind of lit into him. I haven't been a fan of over the years. I have not been a fan of Tony Clark as the head of the MLBPA, but I think he's done a really good job of representing the players throughout this whole ordeal this year. And it's the only time in his tenure that I've really been a fan of him.
Yeah.
He lit into Manfred and basically said that the only reason that baseball has not been played so far is because of him and the owners. The player, here's my stance, and I know we talked about it with Pat when I was on last time, but there's no reason not to pay these guys a prorated salary. If they're going to play 50 games, play them for for their 50 game prorated salary. Don't pay them for 70% of 50 games,
Yeah, and I think they will. Like, if baseball does come back, I think it'll be like a 50-game season, and I think the players will get the fully prorated at that point.
Yeah. Well, we're getting to the point that it really can't be much more than 50 games,
Yeah, it's either
let's say tomorrow they agree, that means the season can't start until at least July 17th. In which point, what's left? 50 games probably. If you want the playoffs to begin at the beginning of October, like they're saying they wanted to.
Yeah.
Their hands are tied. If they otherwise we're gonna.
Perk, you cut out a little there, so I don't know if you want to finish. Yeah, I think you lost your headphones. That's why. I'll cut it in post, or I'll try to cut it in post. Maybe it'll be
All
funny
right,
otherwise.
hold on. I'm just gonna go with the computer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. If it doesn't, if it doesn't get settled like now,
Yeah.
then they're really running out of time. If it happens at the end of this month, we're probably looking at like 35 games.
Yeah, and I don't think 35 is like plausible. Like I don't think the players will show up for 35. I have a hard time
No,
believing they'll show up for 50 to be honest, but I guess if they're getting their full paycheck for 50, like they
yeah,
will, but
if they do, but still, like guys like Trout, Bellinger, Hart, like the big name guys.
mhm.
I don't know that they're gonna play.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to, especially a guy like Trout, who has been very vocal about the fact that his wife is pregnant right now.
Mhm.
And he's like, if I'm not going to be getting my full salary, plus you're not like, plus the testing is not going to be up to standards, like, I need to know what's going to be going on, or else I'm not going to play because I'm not putting my wife and my unborn child at risk.
Yeah, I should rephrase it. I think in the beginning, if they would have landed at 50 games, fully prorated, I think the players would have took it.
Oh,
But
for sure.
now it's
No, yeah,
like now it's like out of spite they may just say no, fuck you. Like I'm not taking this shit.
exactly. Yeah, like
Um,
it's already July. I'm gonna take a long off season. Like,
yeah. Although I think the players are all doing the right thing. They're on a tweeting rampage right now of just saying
yeah,
when and where. And it's high profile guys. I mean, even Mike Trout retweeted someone tweeting it, which is like for
yeah.
Trout, that's like the biggest thing
You've got
in the
people like
world.
Scherzer being very vocal about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scherzer. I saw Bryce Harper did it. I mean, Bryce Harper
yeah,
said what up to the Eagles also, so
yeah.
that's
Bryce Harper's
funny.
gonna play like wide receiver. Um,
But yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, I said this on I think the last episode we did. Um, at this point, like, yeah, baseball will probably come back because Rob Manfred could just say, we're playing.
yeah, completely.
But that's not like that doesn't count in my mind. Like you're just
Yeah,
kind of like kicking the problem down the hill for next
this.
off season at that
Yeah,
point.
exactly. The way that this is going, we're absolutely headed for a strike after the 2021 season.
100%. And I
We're
think
absolutely headed for a strike.
when you put the Tony Clark reaction on your Instagram, I commented on I was like, there's no steroid era coming.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I don't think that I don't think it's responsible to say that like, we're at a point of no return, or if we have a strike or a lockout, however you want to say it, like baseball won't be able to recover. But there's no like saving grace coming. I mean, people
No,
were
there's not.
saying like the constant attention on the Astros this season could have been like a saving grace for baseball, and we don't want that kind of stuff to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Steroids are fine.
yeah, on my own Twitter account, I made two examples of many examples that I could have used, and that is Manfred's insistence on changing the rules when they are not broken, and trying to cater to people who are not baseball fans and will never be baseball fans
Yeah,
at the behest of actual baseball fans. And the way that he completely bungled the Astros punishment.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
They
yeah,
got what he needed to do, and I've been very vocal about this. What he needed to do was ensure that something like this will never happen again. And instead, they got a
yeah,
slap on the wrist. And and other teams are like, "Hey, you know what? If we lose a couple draft picks, but we get a World Series championship out of it, I'm fine. I don't care."
right. Yeah, I mean, but I think some of that is also like in terms of the Astro stuff. I think Rob Manfred, like he does what the owners allow him to do, which I know it's something but I know what it gets
He works for
lost.
the owners,
Yeah,
yeah.
it gets lost in the message sometimes when we start to rant. But I think it was a perfect opportunity for him to say to the owners, "Look, like you pay me whatever the fuck he gets, like 20 million a year or whatever, something
Yeah,
absurd like
yeah.
that.
But
Like
you're not going to
I
get away with
gotta,
stuff like this.
yeah, like I
Yeah,
gotta punish. Like I
yeah,
can't. We have to do this for the good of the sport. Like we have to punish the Astros, and he missed that chance. Like
yeah,
in terms of the punishment, like he did what the owners allowed him to do, so I can't get too mad at him for it. But I guess
right.
like if I don't know that you like went to bat and like tried to stand up for yourself or for the owners, I mean, God, like you're getting fucking destroyed and you're just letting it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the part of Manfred that I don't get. Like he doesn't seem like he has any backbone, like at all.
What is the reason to not give someone like AJ Hinch a lifetime ban?
There isn't one.
And ensure, or Alex Cora, and ensure that it sends a message to people that like, well, the risk is not worth the reward. But in what he did, the risk is most certainly worth the reward.
Yeah.
Because again, all right, I might get a year ban, but I can come back in a year. I get a year to spend time with my family and not have to worry about baseball. And I got a championship out of it. I'm at the pinnacle of my professional, of my profession.
Yeah, and it literally costs nothing to lifetime ban a coach. Like it's not a player. Like I mean, what did AJ Hinch and Alex Cora do?
Manager.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like AJ Hinch is like fucking Joe Torre or Tony La Russa or Bruce Bochy. Like he's not AJ Hinch.
He was a solid manager. He's not a fucking guru.
Exactly.
Like he's not. Yeah, he was a solid manager who was gifted a gifted like an inordinate amount of talent.
Yeah.
He was gifted George Springer, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, Justin Verlander, Gary Cole. The list goes on of how many players that he had.
Yeah, and then they kept drafting well too because they got Gurriel too, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Yuli Gurriel, exactly.
I don't even know if you said Altuve. You may have said.
I said Altuve. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and I mean, I know you didn't watch the special last night, but I wanted to ask you a little bit. Like, you didn't have to watch it to answer the stuff I'm going to say. So, like, we had Mike Greenberg had like Adam Silver on the NBA, Gary Bettman, the MLS commissioner, whatever his name is. No disrespect to my soccer fans. The WNBA commissioner, who I forgot her name, and Roger Goodell. So yeah, every big one. And all of them had, like they broke news to an extent. They had like meaningful things to say, and Rob Manfred just literally had nothing to offer. Nothing. Like he made the problem worse because that's all the quotes that everyone saw. Like he made the problem worse. And in the same breath, when he said, 100% the owners want there to be baseball this year. And then we get the quote today from whoever on Bleacher Report. That's where I got it. At least 6 to 8 owners don't want baseball. So, I mean, what are you doing? Like, the owners are literally sabotaging Rob Manfred with that quote.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, completely. So, you just named 3 other commissioners that I know are extremely valuable to the sport. Silver, I think, is one of the best commissioners for basketball in the past since he's taken over.
For sure.
Goodell makes the league an unbelievable amount of money.
Yep.
As much as you may despise him, which I mean I do, because of the way that the league handles concussions and domestic abuse and the protests, but there's no denying how much money he has made the league.
Yeah, for sure.
Gary Bettman has gone through 2 lockouts, but
he's still standing.
Has gotten the league, superb TV deals.
Yep.
Great playoff viewership, more ad revenue. And so, he's done he's a despised figure in hockey and in sports, but has done an incredible job. And then you have Rob Manfred. And Rob Manfred has, you know what? Games are 3 hours. And I want to get rid of intentional walks so that we can get games down to 2 hours and 57 minutes. Because those 3 minutes, I was doing the calculations, and those 3 minutes, that's where we're losing people. So he does that. He the timeouts, reviews, and well, the big thing is mound visits, because he's like, oh well, mound visits take too long. Mound visits are a part of strategy, and especially if the catcher and pitcher do not speak the same language and are getting their signs crossed up, and they need to communicate.
Yeah, and I mean, like it is a strategy. Like, does it get annoying? Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then it's like, oh, well, the catcher's getting the signs mixed up. He's thinking curveball is fastball. Well, now they only have 2 mound visits left because he went to go talk to him about it.
Yeah.
It's like, so you better be careful about how you use them.
I would love for like a World Series Game 7 to come down to mound visits and see how little of a shit the umpires give if you're over your. It's like, just go talk to him. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like, if the umpire gets in trouble for that, I guarantee every single player would pay that umpire's fine. Like, they wouldn't give a shit at all.
Whoever is pitching at that moment would gladly pay the fine because it helped him out.
Whoever is pitching at that moment makes a shit ton of money and could easily eat that fine.
Like then like I said, you've got the issue with the Astros, with the Red Sox. With the Red Sox, where they were like, oh, it was basically nothing, which, like, we know it was not nothing. Mm-hmm. We know it's the fucking guy who just orchestrated the one with the Astros, and now suddenly his team does it again. Surprise, that's not a coincidence. Why doesn't Cora get a lifetime ban for doing it 2 years in a row and winning 2 World Series?
You're preaching to the choir, man. I mean,
and then now you have the handling of this, where how many, the league and the owners keep on lowballing the players, where they keep on giving them the same dollar amount in different, like, ordinances, where they're like, all right, well, how about 80 games at 70%? No?
Yeah.
How about 70 games at 80%? No? How about 60 games at 90%? No?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like
it's the same offer every single time.
Yeah, the analogy I heard and the way I've explained it to, like, my family, or like people who just, like, don't get it as much, I'm like, imagine you need me to give you $10, and I could either give you 2 5s, a 5 and 5 singles, or 10 singles. That's what the owners are doing to the players.
Yeah,
with all these alleged proposals that they think are great.
Yeah, the overall money amount each time is exactly the same. It's just wearing a different shirt.
Yeah, I think it's we touched before how, like, baseball is just really running out of time. I mean, the sense I get from, like, the radio and, like, all the shows I listen to is that they think as soon as the money is solved, which I don't think it'll ever fully be solved, the rest will just fall into place well. And I think you're seeing, in terms of COVID-19, like, Florida is doing really bad, Texas is really bad, Arizona's starting to get really bad.
After Florida opened up, they are now closing down bars and restaurants again after opening up like 2 weeks ago, because the cases there have skyrocketed, because surprise, it wasn't over.
Right. So
and if you had just listened, you'd know it wasn't over.
Yeah. So like, I say that to mean, like, you still have all the safety issues that you have to work out, and, like, that's not, like, you see it even in the NBA, where, I mean, the NBA is dealing with the Black Lives Matter. I don't want to say movement, because I think it's much bigger than a movement, but I'll say movement for now. But they're also concerned with the testing and the pure health safety standpoint of it, and I think, and they already have the deal done, and they're starting to think about it. So I don't understand how baseball can think they can get the money done and all the safety precautions and everything signed off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be like a snap of a finger.
No, but I think part of the bigger issue, and maybe the biggest issue, is that the league continues to cry poor, and the owners continue to cry poor. Like the St. Louis Cardinals owners, whose names I don't know offhand, they were like, we don't make that much money from the Cardinals. Like, the city of St. Louis runs on the St. Louis Cardinals. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
You
it's
bring in all of the revenue in that city.
it is the DeWitt family.
DeWitt family, yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to find out his net worth right now.
But and then you just had the league on over the weekend. The league struck a deal with Turner Broadcasting for a $2 billion deal.
I thought it was $1 billion for one round.
No, it's going to get them $2 billion over the next like 4 years.
Fucking stupid. I just looked up. So William DeWitt, the Cardinals are worth $4 billion supposedly, and he paid $150 million for the team in 1995. So I think he could afford it.
I think he's made a little bit of a profit.
I think so. But I like how you said though the owners are crying poor, because another thing I learned last night is that Adam Silver basically told the fans through the SportsCenter special that it is costing them a great deal of money to put the playoffs together, in Disney. And because they make most of their money during the regular season, whereas like baseball and other sports, they really pick it up in the postseason. So but the NBA said, like Adam Silver said, like, it's costing us a lot of money. Like, we don't have to do this at all, but we know we have to do it for the fans. And I think that's a really cool message for the owners to give, through Adam Silver, is that like, look, yeah, we're going to lose money, but
we don't care. We know we'll make it back next year. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think
that's the thing I'm sorry, but that's the thing that the baseball owners are ignoring basically, is that like, hey, you're going to make this money back in a year.
Yeah.
You make all the money from TV deals, first of all. That's where all of the baseball revenue comes from, is TV deals. Then you're also, if you play, you're going to get merch sales.
Yeah,
people are still going to buy T-shirts. People are buying your fucking face masks right now.
Yeah.
Like, I just, I work in a doctor's office. I wear a face mask for work every day. And I'm getting very uncomfortable with the cloth ones. So I was like, let me buy one of like the better material ones. And the New York Giants, like all the teams make them. So I bought a pack of New York Giants ones. And so like, and I know I'm not the only person that's doing that.
No, you see them all the time.
They're buying their favorite sports team on their face mask,
Yeah, I have mine has chickens on it. So, which is kind of like MLB logo at this point.
A little bit, yeah.
I refuse to buy like a sports team one because I hope that I don't have to wear one like that long. Like, I know I probably will.
Yeah.
But like, just mentally, I can't clear that hurdle. Like, it helps me if I don't have one. But
yeah. One of the biggest things, along with the owners crying poor, is the fact that we know that minor leaguers make nothing.
Absolutely
nothing. The Nationals just had a pissing contest where the Nationals were only going to pay $300 a week to the players rather than $400 a week. And so, like, the entire Nationals major league roster said, then we will pay the difference because that's bullshit. And then the Nationals were like, all right, you got us. And then they paid the full amount. But
and
the fact that minor league, exactly. And the fact that minor league players only make $400 a week is ridiculous.
You can't whip off that.
That's the thing. And Bernie Sanders had a meeting with Rob Manfred a year ago to discuss why can't minor leaguers make a living wage?
Yeah.
Because you profit off of them.
See, I think like people hear like $400 a week and like
they're like, oh, okay. But they don't realize that it's only 5 months of the year.
Because you could live off $400 a week if you live at home with your parents and don't pay for anything. But these guys are out, living on the road.
Yeah.
Like you need more than that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. But I think you said something I wanted to piggyback off of, and it totally skipped my mind.
I
hate when that happens. It's not good. Oh, I'll pick it up later. I know. I'll think of it.
But yeah, it's just a huge issue with with the league, and Manfred is, I think fully responsible for it because he doesn't enforce anything with the owners.
Right.
The owners are like, well, we don't want to pay him, and he's like, okay, you don't have to.
Yeah. Oh, and now I remember what I said. So the Nationals and the Athletics, they eventually revoked their statement and started paying them again, right?
Right, because there was so much backlash.
Right.
Look how much money you're worth, and you can't pay $100 extra per player in the minor league system.
So my question to you is then, because it's clear that like these owners give in to public reactions, backlash, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if I got every single person I know and then they got every single person they know and they just tweet at MLB, get a deal done, they would just get it done? Because I've honestly thought about it. Like if they give in to so much to the public, like it would probably work.
I don't know.
It's worth a shot. Let's do it. We'll start it.
I mean, the players are doing it already, and they don't give a fuck.
That's true.
The players are the ones that they make money off.
That's true. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, regardless, though, baseball has to figure this shit out.
Completely.
I think it's just hard because, like, I know it comes down to money, but I just don't want it to come down to money for this. And even like, because at the end of the day, they could say, "Oh, we didn't get a deal done because of COVID," but like, and that could be the official reason.
I'd accept that.
Well, I won't accept it now because I won't believe it.
Exactly. Exactly. But if you would have just said that at the beginning, which they should have, because like we shouldn't even be at this point. Back in May, they should have just said, "All right, the season's a wash. We'll let everything clear up. We'll pay we'll pay everybody half their salaries to stay home, and that'll be it."
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Perk, but like when when the lockdowns really started, like I fully expected baseball to do that. Like I never expected to see baseball this year.
I didn't think and I still don't expect to see baseball this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they would have just called it due to the global pandemic in like late April, early May, then I think I don't think that the owners would be at odds with the players like they are right now. But they are because the owners are trying to gyp their players out of what's in their contract.
Yeah, and you know why the owners like didn't just say, "All right, global pandemic, we're not playing." It's kind of like when you're at work, right, and it's supposed to be like a blizzard, right? So your office is like, "All right, guys, the office is closed," or like you leave like as soon as it starts snowing and whatever, and then like 30 seconds later, it's not snowing anymore, or it never snowed to begin with, and you just got like a free day off of work. Like that's essentially what baseball is like. Oh well, maybe the pandemic will go away, so we don't want to, fuck ourselves over. That's what I equate it to, which is honestly ridiculous.
But it's not a way, and that's the problem. Is that first off, we already know by now that the virus takes 14 days to I forgot the word.
Like work its way through?
To incubate. That's the incubation period is 14 days. So it takes a little while for symptoms to come. And that's why when things opened around Memorial Day, that's why there are so many positive cases right now. And an issue I think is a lot of people are going to say like, "Oh, well, look, the protests are causing a lot of cases." But if you're looking at videos, all those protesters are wearing face masks. And you know who isn't? The people going out to bars and restaurants and the beach.
Yeah.
Those people aren't. That's where the cases are coming from. Those people that aren't listening to the precautions that are in place. And now we've got spikes again, and we're going to have a second spike.
Yeah.
Because last week, Florida had their biggest, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, they had 8,500 in 1 week, which was their biggest, their most cases in a single week during the entire period of this.
I can't fathom 80. My neighbor and her son went down to Florida last weekend actually, because
Mhm.
it was supposed to be his like bachelor party, and he has a brother who lived down there, and he just got
Mhm.
engaged. They all like went down because I guess they felt like safe enough to at least travel out of New York, which is fine. I don't know if I feel that way, but whatever.
Yeah, no.
And they came home and they were like, yeah, like literally no one in a mask in Florida.
Yeah.
Like they had theirs, so they felt like as good as you can nowadays. But
Mhm.
like it was like they're like they felt like they were in a whole new country.
Yeah, exactly.
And
The
it's
reason there
ridiculous.
are stereotypes about Florida, like
Dude, they
they're
don't
not
help
called.
themselves. They don't help
Yeah.
themselves, man. It's like I don't it's like that person who like who's really smart, but like they don't give off the vibe that they're smart, so everyone thinks they're
Mhm.
dumb. And it's
Yeah.
just you just want to like shake them and be like, dude, help yourself. Like you're not an idiot.
Yeah.
But like these people, like they just are. They're just
Yeah.
idiots. Um
Yeah. I don't know what's happening at this point, and I wish that things would clear up, because I wish that people would have listened, and I wish that people would have taken things seriously, but they're not. And I think at this point, I think it's not. I don't even think it's safe for hockey or basketball to play, because
yeah.
basketball is the one that had the cases in the first place. That's why everything shut
Mhm.
down. Um, with the Utah Jazz and
Yeah, Rudy
did the
go.
Nuggets have?
The Nets
Was it
had a
like the
few. I mean
Timberwolves or something? Nets,
Kevin
yeah,
Durant had one.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, but it was mainly. I mean, Rudy Gobert started it all.
yeah,
So
exactly. By touching the mics, yeah.
yeah,
But yesterday we just saw Ezekiel Elliott tested positive, as well
yeah,
as several unnamed players from the Cowboys and Texans, as well
yeah,
as coaches. So, and then today there is again an unnamed baseball player and pitching coach, and I think a couple of Pittsburgh Penguins players tested positive like 3 weeks ago.
yeah. I saw that.
Um, it's not stopping,
It's
and
not.
the issue. So like hockey, one of their hub cities that they want to do is Vegas, and Vegas is
Yeah,
real. And so how is that going to be with with millionaire hockey players locked in hotels in Vegas, where they're going to want to go down and start gambling or go drinking and stuff, and then there's going to
yeah.
be fucking cases, because everybody, you can't not have a casino be congested.
No, and I think like when all these leagues come back, I mean, I think they are ready for people to
Yeah,
test positive, and I
yeah,
mean that's just something that like I don't blame players for being like, well, no, like that's not gonna happen, like
yeah,
at all.
exactly, exactly.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you mentioned a good point because like the UFC is came back. I mean, they've done multiple fights,
Hmm.
and they all seem to go well. I mean, I've actually taking a liking to the UFC, so I've been watching every single one.
Hmm.
But to me, like I'm assuming they get tested every day. Everyone there gets tested. It's very minimal people. They have their corner and whatever, and they're all wearing masks.
Yeah, yeah,
But then at the end of the day, they still go and they still fight each other.
right.
You know, whereas I feel like the MLB is trying to make all these like extra precautions like on the field, and I don't think the NBA is doing something like that. I don't think the NHL can do anything like that.
No, I don't
I
think
don't think
so. I don't
baseball
think
can
so.
either. But
No,
you
baseball.
know,
I don't think baseball can. And are they going to make them wear masks on the field? Like, especially in hockey, they're going to like pass out.
I think hockey, like maybe they'll all put the cages on, but I mean that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, there's
Really, I
still
mean,
holes in those cages. Like,
um, but no, I mean that's a good point because like even in our softball group chat, because we're lucky enough where
that's one of my concerns. Is like, what are our protections?
right. I asked the question. I was like, did Scott, who's not me, the commissioner of
Yeah,
APA, say any safety precautions that we have to abide by? And
and
the
Landy
answer
said
was
no.
no. And I
Yeah,
was like, well, that's like I
not
gave him the
promising.
benefit of the doubt. I was like, well, maybe they still have time. Like
Yeah,
that probably like phase two of their plan.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, like I'm probably gonna play regardless. Like I'm dying to play.
yeah.
And I do think it'll be relatively safe. But
I'll try. I'll more than likely be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
I'll Purell after every fucking inning, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, to me, I just won't, like, shake each other. I won't shake the other team's hand, which is fine.
Yeah,
I
no,
hated fucking
I'm
doing
not
that
doing
anyway.
that. I'm not gonna high five anybody on our team.
That's fine.
Like,
Your high fives hurt, man, so I'm looking forward to that.
I'll give everybody like elbows, but I'm not touching anybody.
We're gonna have like a team wave. Like we're gonna make up like instead of a team handshake, we make a team wave.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I'm not mad about not high fiving the other team. Like I talk so much shit under my breath to them the whole time anyway. Like I really don't want to shake your hand at the end of the day.
Fuck you, fucking pussy, fucking piece of shit.
So many times, especially when I'm like at second base and don't have to pay attention to anything. Like I'm talking shit the whole time to no one. Like they don't hear me, but I'm just getting it out there.
I mean, it is pretty loud. I hear you from right center.
Well, when I want to get loud, I'll get loud. But Taborski ignores me, which is troubling. I usually do it so he can laugh, and he just like ignores me. Guess he's known by now.
Right. I mean, yeah, like I was saying, just to get back to it, like to me, the smart thing is just cancel all the seasons and let this phase out because it's there. You know, it's just at this point, it's more important than sports.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have the distraction, but it's not necessary, and it's not necessary to put the players at risk, you know, for our entertainment.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the owners or the leagues are going to do that. Are going to do what I believe to be the smart thing. I think that they, you know, and we see from baseball, they are going to try to play, and I think it's going to end disastrously.
Yeah,
because I think there are going to be an abundance of positive cases.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more concerned with like, for some reason, I think the pitchers and catchers will be like the first to go in terms of like getting coronavirus. Not like, you know, hopefully not dying, but yeah, I mean them and the umpire too. Like I feel like the home plate umpire, the catcher, and the pitcher after the first game will have coronavirus. Like that.
But that's the other issue is that like umpires, managers, coaching staff, like all those people are, you know, generally about 60. You know, they're over the age that, you know, where they are more susceptible. And so that, you know, that puts them at risk. And how many people have maybe diabetes or something, a heart, you know, congestive heart failure, or heart disease, high blood pressure, something that puts them at risk. And then you're just putting them like, well, you know, we got to play, so get out there.
Yeah. That's basically what's going to be.
I think it's irresponsible. You know, I'm a wrestling fan, and like WWE is doing it right now. And there was a report that came out today because there was just a positive case in WWE from a performer. They did not say who it was, but somebody, you know, like insiders are leaking stuff to like reporters saying like, hey, this is what's happening. And apparently like WWE is not actually conducting tests. They're just like checking to see if you have a fever. And even if some people do have a fever, they're like, all right, yeah, come in. Like you're not like 102, you're at like 100. So it's fine.
It's still a fever. Still a fever.
But the issue is that Vince McMahon, his wife, is in the Trump cabinet. So like, and if you look at the two businesses or organizations or whatever that are not enforcing masks is WWE, because they have some performers that like some of their like performance center recruits and developmental talents are like hanging out at ringside as like an audience, and none of them are wearing masks because apparently it came out today as well that WWE told them if you're going to wear a mask, do not show up.
Wait, that's backwards.
Yep, it is. And Trump at his upcoming at his upcoming rally in Omaha, I believe he's going to Omaha. No masks. So those are the only two things, and I don't think it's a coincidence that there's that overlap.
Yeah.
So, and again, and like I said, so the performers that are coming in are being put at risk, and apparently WWE themselves have not conducted a single test, like a single actual test. They've found 2 cases in the last like 2 or 3 months, And that is because those two people that tested positive went outside to go get tested because they weren't getting tested by WWE.
Yeah, so I guess like my question is, have wrestlers like stood up and be like, no, like I'm not doing this if you're not going to test me, or
Several people have said that they are not showing up. Roman Reigns, who is one of the biggest names in the company,
I heard that one.
He sat out of WrestleMania when everything was happening,
Yeah.
and he said, "I'm not coming back until everything's settled," because he battled leukemia 2 years ago, and he battled it again like a decade ago, so
Yeah.
he's susceptible. A guy named by the name of Sami Zayn, he has not come because he just said, like, I just don't feel comfortable, and they said fine, then stay home.
Yeah.
And another wrestler, I'll let that bus pass. I don't know if you heard that.
That's fine.
The joys of living in Queens now. So another wrestler in NXT by the name of Kyle O'Reilly suffers from diabetes, so he has stayed home. So, and I think you're gonna find more as this goes on and continues, because they are running in Florida. I think more talent are going to say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to put myself at risk. I'm just going to stay home.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that I mean, not like to wish ill on like wrestling and everything, but I hope that happens. Like, I hope more guys, stand up and tell Vince McMahon to fuck off.
Reading that today, I was absolutely I was beyond disgusted to hear that that's how they're handling it. I think it's completely ass backwards, and I think it's completely irresponsible.
What is ass backwards? When you said it, I thought you misspoke. That's why I said that's backwards.
Yeah.
And then you kept going, so I was like, okay, I guess you read it right.
Yeah, no, they told the talents that are like, hanging out like in the crowd, hey, don't wear a mask. We don't want you on camera wearing a mask.
They also don't need a crowd.
Exactly.
Like, I don't
But the issue is that, like, when they were working with no crowd, people were like, oh, this is weird. So they were like, all right,
because it is weird.
Yeah, exactly. So they were like, all right, let's get 20 people just to make some noise. And so they got like 20 performance center recruits and like developmental talents, like, hey, hang out ringside and cheer and stuff, but don't wear a mask.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird. I mean, I've never watched a UFC fight with a crowd, so I don't fully like,
I don't know what it's like.
but like for me, like coming into a sport that I've never watched before, I learned so much without a crowd because you hear all the coaching going on, and
with UFC, it seems like that'd be like really fucking cool to hear all that, because on the regular pay-per-views, when they're in a 15,000 person arena, you don't hear that.
Right.
The mics don't pick that up; they pick up the crowd.
Right. So I think it's like, I mean, I don't fully understand what the coaches are saying, but
they're saying punch him, punch him, punch him, punch
but
him.
I'll get there. I'll get there eventually.
Kick him, choke him, choke him, choke him.
Oh man. It's a little more technical than that. I think I would understand that.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, no, probably not. I'm probably just.
And then when they get to the corner, they're like, you know what you're not doing? I'm not hitting them. Yeah, you're not hitting them. You got to hit them.
You're getting your ass kicked right now. Like,
you know what I want you to do? I want you to fight them.
Oh man. But all right, we covered a lot. I think in summation, Rob Manfred sucks.
More or less, I think he's running the sport into the ground. And I think the sport will be better off if the owners were to fire him and go with somebody else who actually has baseball's best interest in mind. But I do not think that the owners are going to do that.
No, I don't think they're going to fire him because I think he's doing everything that they want.
Correct.
Right now.
But hopefully the owners hear the fan backlash, and hopefully they hear the player backlash, because I don't think there's a single player that likes Rob Manfred.
No, and I mean, and I think the best thing that the players are doing is sending out that little
being vocal about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the little 6-word tweet or whatever, however many words it is of, tell me when and where.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Harper doing it, Trout doing it, Garrett Cole did it today.
Yeah, you
Gary
got a former
Sanchez.
MVP. You got a former MVP in Andrew McCutchen, who every single time they had one of these dumbass fucking offers, he just tweets LOL.
and it's not.
It's a big name in the sport,
sarcastic.
and
LOL.
yeah, he's LOL.
All
So,
right.
yeah, I think I know you wanted a short one. I think we've kept
No,
it.
that's fine.
It's about 45 minutes at this point. But yeah, like I think hope. My hope is that the owners see that there is a lot of backlash against Rob Manfred in the way that he's handled everything here, and they decide we need to go in a different direction to so that the sport can't be damaged any more than it already is.
Yeah, I think that's a good close. I do want to tease a little bit, Perk, of what we're going to be doing.
Okay.
Probably the next 2 weeks, schedule permitting. So you guys have seen, me and Pat and me and Cassidy have done. How do I say, like making lineups of like current NBA players, MLB players. Perk and I are going to be doing one for football. Obviously, football is the largest lineup you could possibly do, so we're going to split into 2 parts of offense. Probably do offense next week, sometime next week, and then defense the week after that, or maybe the same week. See how crazy we're feeling. And I think it'll be fun because people have seemed to really enjoy them. We get a lot of interaction on Instagram and everything. There's a fire going on by Perkowski's house right now, but not Perkowski's house, for those wondering. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do the next 2 weeks. You're gonna be hearing a lot of Chris Perkowski. He covers a lot of baseball, but he has immense sport knowledge beyond baseball. So
yeah,
looking forward to this.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to step out of the baseball bubble. I really handcuffed myself by deciding to just do a baseball podcast because every time I'm asked to do something, it's about baseball, and I don't want to talk about baseball anymore.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm sick of talking about baseball sucking at this point too.
Yeah.
But just to give the audience a taste, I asked you, do you want to include offensive linemen? Because like I'm fine not doing it, and you're like, no, yeah, we're definitely doing offensive linemen.
Definitely doing offensive linemen.
And that is the one reason why we couldn't do it this week because
linemen.
I'm probably just gonna cop out and be like, I'll just take the whole Colts offensive line or something. Like I don't know.
It's a fair thing. Colts or Eagles, it's a pretty good way to go.
All right, yeah. So I'll try to narrow it down, but no promises for everyone. But that's gonna wrap it up there. Perk, thanks again for coming on. I appreciate you coming on and wanting to come on. I mean, this was your idea, so
of course. Thanks for having me. I could verbally spar with Rob Manfred any day of the week.
I think
sack of shit.
I think a bag of rocks could verbally spar with Rob Manfred at this point.
He's got the personality of a goldfish.
That may be disrespectful to goldfish.
And the spine of one too.
Damn. Tough week for goldfish. Anyway, guys, take it easy. Enjoy the week. It's supposed to be nice out. Follow us on Instagram at _bench, Twitter at @EOTB. Support links are in the podcast description. If you want to be a monthly supporter, half your support goes to No Kid Hungry, and you get a T-shirt. Perk, you want to plug the Charging the Mound? Go right ahead, man.
Sure. The blog has not been active in some time because there's no baseball and because I am in grad school. But if you want to read stuff from like 2 years ago, go for it. It's chargingthemound.com. The Instagram account I do keep active at Charging the Mound. My personal accounts are at Dr. spelled out. Dr_Perk. Doctor is spelled out on Instagram and Twitter.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Perk. See you later, man.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
You too.